Now, the annual Matsila Day is held annually to celebrate the culture, history and heritage of the Matsila Royal Family. The event is also celebrating the Radzambo Matsila Memorial Lecture, focusing on the historic legacies of royal leaders of the Matsila clan. Joining us now to tell us more about the significance is Chief Livhuwani Matsila of the Matsila Royal Family. A very good evening to you. Good afternoon to you, Chief Matsila. Thank you so much for your time. I know that this occasion is normally celebrated in style with lots of color, lots of music. But before we go into the actual festivities, talk to us about what it does, what it really entails.
No, the annual Matsila Day is an occasion whereby we gather as the Matsila Royal Family and the community and our friends and relatives just to, commemorate our leaders, also showcasing our cultures and traditions, making sure that we teach our young ones how our culture is celebrated and promoted, but remembering the good deeds of our forebears, being the chiefs and kings of our nation, so that we can learn lessons from there as to how best to rule the communities and also how best to lead people to prosperity.
Talk to us about the memorial lecture that will be taking place and the significance of that lecture and some of the messages and perhaps educational values that you'd like to get out of that.
The memorial lecture focuses mainly on, Kosi Radzambo Matsila being my grandfather and the father of our nation. And he's a leader who valued education a lot and inspired many after him to go to school. That's why we have a community of
okay, we appear to have
who
a
are
difficulty.
now better educated and better focused on the affinities of different cultural backgrounds together.
Okay, yeah, no, that line not sounding so good. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the conversation short. I understand that Chief Matsila is back with us. I'm hoping that this time, as you answer this question, Chief Matsila, it will be a lot clearer. Speak to us then about, you were still speaking about your grandfather and his love for education and how you're hoping to embody that and spread the message with the memorial lecture. Who's expected to speak there?
We had Professor Musuma, from the CRL Rights Commission, focusing on the rights of traditional communities like us to better ourselves and to promote our own culture. And one of the distinguishing characters of the leader we're talking about on the memorial lecture is that he united diverse people from cultural backgrounds such as the Watsonga and Wavenda in the area to ensure social cohesion, unity and peace. It's a great lesson we can learn a lot as a nation, especially now that we do see incidents of tribalism rearing their heads now and again. Incidents of racism also coming up. I think we can learn a lot about promoting unity as it was done then by our forebears.
And why do you think it's so important to continue with initiatives such as the Matsila celebration?
It's important so that we really promote our culture and indigenous knowledge. In the days of our forebears, we had initiation schools that were free of casualties such as death of the initiates. Here at Matsila, many traditional leaders were initiated here through circumcision schools, and we did not have what we see today as casualties. So such practices as were done then, will be able to really help us to deal with some of the contemporary challenges that societies are facing. Back then, issues of gender-based violence were minimal, and people respected women. And these are the great leaders who promoted respect for people, respect for women and children, and who really cared for their society and the vulnerable ones.
The value of culture in a modern society, how do you think that bodes with this celebration and some of the lessons that come out of it for the younger generation?
You will see that any development in society, economically and socially, only thrives when it's inspired by culture. You can see nations who value their culture, that they are now prospering. You look at China-based models and other models of development. They are inspired by the cultures of the people. Unless you take along people with their culture, you may not be able to lead them in a democratic way, because you see the culture helps people to be more decent towards each other. It helps people to respect one another. It helps people to unite and identify themselves. People who lack identity often have low self-esteem and cause a lot of problems in society.
And as you celebrate the day, I know that there's always a lot of color, shibelani, a lot of dancing and music. Talk to us about what that day looks like.
It's a colorful day, where, people showcase their traditional or cultural performances. In our royal space, we promote Chikona, which is only, done when they are royal leaders of our caliber and others. And you also have the Tsonga people displaying their own shibelani, shigubu, very colorful performances there, which is very entertaining and also very educative. There's a lot of education that goes on with all these traditional dances, because people are schooled around it and their importance, in society.
You say shigubu, you say shibelani, and education, but of course all of that comes with food. What sort of food is going to be out there?
The food that is offered is your traditional food, in the main indigenous vegetables, moro, which is very rich in protein and other vitamins. Also your mashonja, or mupani worms, as other people call them, and other, starch-based products that are produced locally using organic plants and vegetables.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for sharing with us there the significance of Matsila Day being shared there by Chief Livhuwani Matsila, who is talking to us about what that day will embody.